Hello and welcome to a new series of videos I'm hoping to do using the new gift bag punch board available from Stampin Up. I've had my punch board about a month now and I've had great fun playing around with all the different sizes and styles of bags and boxes you can make with it, and I'm hoping to start sharing some of those with you in a video format. So when you first get your board from Stampin Up, it does come with a full set of instructions. Here they are on both sides, and to begin with they can seem pretty scary and pretty daunting, and even the first bag you make, you may be tempted just to put it all to one side and say, oh, it's too complicated. But I promise, if you persevere with it, actually after 2 or 3 bags it really clicks, and it's worth persevering because it is a really great tool. Okay, you've got lots of various lines on the board, and I think this is where you can seem a little bit daunted because previous boards have been quite simple with only maybe 1 or 2 score lines, and this has a few more than that. But if you get yourself into a routine, it's actually fine. So you have here, this is the punch element. Okay, this punches notches in for the base to form the base of your bag, and you have this line here, the start line. Okay, you then have 3 bag sizes. Those are for the front and the back of your bags. You've got the small, the medium and the large. And then for the side of your bags, you have this side line here. Okay, the side of the bag is always 2 inches, regardless of whether you make a small, medium or a large bag. And then within the side, you have like a side 2 line, which sort of does the gusset up the middle of the bag. Some triangular lines there to help with the gusset. And then finally, you also have a horizontal line across here, which is what allows you to fold those base pieces over to create the bottom of your bag. So I've got some here that I've made previously. The instructions tell you that you can use any length of piece of paper from 4 inches all the way up to 12 inches, and that from that piece of paper you need to allow 1 1/4 inches for the base of your bag. So here's 3 that I made previously. So this is where I started with a 4-inch piece of paper, and I've made the small width of bag, and for that you need the paper 10 inches wide. Okay, so that's kind of like the smallest one you can do. Next up, I've started with an 8-inch high piece of paper, and I've made this to the medium size bag, okay, for which you need a piece of paper 11 inches wide, and then it was 8 inches high. And then finally, a really tall one. This is where I kept the piece of paper 12 inches high, and I made it to the large size. So the piece of paper was 12 inches wide and 12 inches high, and you get a big long tall box like that one. But the width of the boxes stays the same. The side of the box, that 2 inches, that stays the same. So today I'm going to make for you just a simple bag, and I'm going to make it to my favourite size. And I've made this one. This is 6 inches high and 12 inches across. So we're going to be making the large bag today. Okay, so it's really quite simple. You slide your piece of paper into the board. Okay, the punch punches the notches to create the base that's going to run along here. Now I find it best if you get into some sort of routine or rhythm, some sort of pattern that flows each time, that will help you remember the steps you need to do. I have a nasty tendency to forget this horizontal line, and sometimes I just put it in at the beginning and just be done with it. So I'm actually going to do that this time. So I'm just going to slide my paper all the way along, and I'm going to put that horizontal line in now, because otherwise I just forget to do it. Okay, right, so back to the start line, left hand edge on the start line. We're going to punch. Okay, and we're going to score. This is going to be the front, so we're going to score on the large line. Okay, now we're going to slide the paper across. You'll see here we've got a little notch here now. Okay, that's starting the nice neat notches for the bases, so you get a nice neat finish on your base. And we're going to slide across so that the start line is now on that larger line I just scored. So now we need a side, the first side to our bag. So we're going to punch again. Okay, we're going to score a side line, and then we're going to do the centre side and the triangles for the gusset. Okay, now we need the back of the bag, so we slide again so that the side line, not the gusset side, the full side line is now on that start line. We punch again. I'm going to do the back, so we need another large one, so we score down there. And then finally we need the last side, so we punch again. We've got the side line, the centre of that side panel, and the two triangles to form the gusset, and we're left with a final little piece here, which is the flap to stick it all together with. So you just need to slide across for the final time so that that score line is now on that start line, and just punch again just to finish off the edge of that tab. And we're done with the board for a moment, so I'll move that out of the way so that we can have a look at the bag. So we've got all these which fold to make the base. We have this, which is the flap to stick it all together, and we have a front, a side, a back and a side, and my sides have got the scores in to create the squidgy gusset. Okay, so there's the first steps for our bag. Okay, so depending on how you're going to close your bag, you need to think about whether you need to put any holes in it. This one, for example, I didn't put any holes in. I've just used a little peg and I've closed it. But this one with the tie handles, or this one with the bow, I've put the holes in for those. And I've actually used the hole punch on the board. And you might say, what hole punch on the board? I didn't see one of those. So I'm going to bring the board back in. So here was the punch part that did all these notches to create the base of the bag. But on this side, it punches two holes. Okay, and those are the holes that you can use to tie up your bag. Now I'm going to tie this bag like that one, so I'm going to put the holes in. So I'm going to bring the board back in. I'm going to have it this way round now, otherwise my paper's going to bump into my tripod. Okay, and I'm going to hope that you can see. So you need to punch holes where the main score lines were, not those side gussets, those lines that got the centre of the side. You don't want to punch holes on those ones, but anywhere where you've got the edge or those side scores, they need a hole punching. So there's a little notch on here, if you can see, hang on, little notch on there, and you line those score lines up with that notch. Okay, so if I slide that in, we need to do this end first. Okay, that just gets me one hole because obviously there's nothing here. But if I put in the first score line, and there we are, it punches you two holes, one either side of the score line. We don't want one on that centre gusset line, but we do want one on the next line. Okay, and on the next line again. Miss the centre side line, but on the last line, there we are again, and you end up with a hole in this tab part, but don't worry about that. So we're done with the board again for now. Take that out of the way. Okay, and now we should look about how you assemble the bag. Okay, the first thing we need to do is get rid of this little bit here. We don't need that. Okay, that's on. And if you want to neaten up your tab, I tend to just trim that off at a little angle as well. Right, now we can go ahead. I've got some of this new tear and tape. I haven't used it. We're going to see how it goes because this is my first go with it. Right, so we're going to use this on this tab here. So we're going to pop that down and tear. Oh yeah, pretty good. Okay. And then I should probably fold along the score lines before I stick it together. So let's fold along all of those. So those ones all go in like that. Let's do those horizontal ones for the base. And then the gusset ones you want to fold the other way. Give them a little tweak on those lines. Get those going. The paper I'm using today is the new, I think it's called English Garden, something like that. Okay, it's lovely, whatever it is. Okay, so now I've folded all my score lines, I can stick it together. So pop that one in. Can we get the back off easily? Yep, that was pretty good. I'm impressed with it so far. Fold this one over. Hopefully our holes are going to line up nicely as well for when we come to thread the ribbon through in a minute. So there we are. Now we've got it like that, and you can see those side scores. So that just leaves the base now. So we'll have another little bit of that tape. I keep going to reach for scissors, and apparently I don't need them. So that's, oh yeah, wow, that is really, does tear nicely. Okay, you'd probably want to put a bit more adhesive on, but I'm just doing it quickly at this point. So fold the side flaps in, fold this flap in, and then fold this flap in. I find it takes a little jiggling just to make sure that you've got the whole box sort of square. But then when you're happy that you have, you can go ahead. I've fallen off the camera there for a minute, haven't I? And stick that down. And there we are. There we have our bag. Okay, all made. I do like this paper, it's beautiful. Okay, right. So it wasn't too bad after all, was it? I promised you. Okay, find some scrap paper, some retired paper, some paper that came in a pack where you liked the rest of it but you didn't like that colour, and just practice. And I promise you, 1 or 2 goes and you'll have got the hang of it. It really isn't hard. So I'm going to tie this one closed, and I found some green thread that should, I think this is retired now, but it blends in quite nicely and it was still in the drawer. So I'm going to pop that through all of those holes, round the back, and then through all of those as well. So it's come through there, can you see, on those sides? Okay, and then I'm just going to tie a bit of a bow. Okay, probably not the best bow I've ever tied, but I'm sure you're going to let me off. And we'll just trim that away. There we go. And then finally, just so that I can say I finished it off properly, I've used the stamp set that coordinates with this new paper, which is called Garden in Bloom. And I've just stamped one of the sentiments and hand cut a little butterfly that's in there. And I've layered it up on one of the new label dies. And I've got that already beforehand. So I can just take the backs off of there and then just pop that on my bag. Obviously when you make the bags, you can make them from card, you can make them from paper, it's up to you. If you want to stamp on them, obviously you want to do that either before you start scoring the bag at all, or at least when you've scored it and before you start assembling it. You want to do any stamping that you might want to do on them. So we'll just put a bit of a wiggle into this thread. So time's nearly up on my video now, so there we go. Okay, and this is one of my favourite sizes, I have to say. So this was 6 inches deep, the piece of paper, and 12 inches wide, and I used the large size score on the scoreboard. So I hope you like that sort of simple introduction to the scoreboard and how to create the basic bags that it's designed for. But I do hope you'll stop back and visit me again soon, when I hope to show you some more of the fun bags and boxes that I've made with it, because it really can do so much more. And I think in the UK it's priced at £18, and for all the things it can do, I promise you that is a bargain. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope I see you again soon. Bye.